Okay, everybody, so this is my review of the Wheel of Time episode 7, The Dark Along the Ways. It's crazy. We are already at the penultimate episode of the season. I can't believe it. There's only 8 episodes in the season, but I feel like it just started. So it's fascinating that we're already at the end here. But you always see with penultimate episodes in a season that sometimes it's more of a setup for a big finale, or it's the big episode and then the finale is kind of a come down. But this clearly is one that is actually a setup for the finale. And it's interesting because with the cliffhanger last week, it felt like maybe this was going to be kind of like a banger, but it's really not. But that's for better or for worse, and that always can pay off again if the finale lands and gives us what we really want is that big episode. So what I did like about this episode is it has a great cold open like episode 4 did with Logain, where this time we're seeing this pregnant warrior that's in like something that looks like Hoth from Star Wars, and it will be revealed at the end of the episode that this is Rand's mother with the red hair, and it will also reveal that Rand is the Dragon Reborn, and that this is on, I guess this area, if I heard it correctly, Dragon Mill. So I guess that connects it to why he is the Dragon Reborn, if maybe we can get some clarification from book readers on that and why that's the case, because it wasn't super clear in this episode. But what really stood out to me with this cold open was, of course, the action was really good. The fighting choreography was great here, but I also love the confident camera work with a lot of just shots that are constantly changing your perspective in the scene, and I really dug the sound mixing and sound design in this scene in particular. Sound never gets enough praise and all kind of works, and this really stood out to me here, so props to the whole team on this opening action sequence. So what is an interesting storyline when we go back now to present day, you know, Moraine's reaction to Matt not coming along. Everyone's reaction, but Moraine's was really important to me because when Lan asks her, you know, what if it's Matt the dragon and we don't have him? She's happy he's not, you know, going with them in a sense because she sees inherent darkness in Matt in general. So she's like, if he was the dragon and he sees the Dark One, he would probably just go and, you know, be with the Dark One and be on his side, which would be really bad. So I thought that was interesting, and I think it's interesting later on in the episode that she sends a message to the White Tower that the Red Aja should look for Matt. This is crazy, because this is like, I guess, sending him to a death sentence, because we know how they feel about men, and clearly powerful men like Matt. So this is really interesting, too, that she made this choice, that she's really sending Matt to something bad for him, and you know, obviously the other people in the group don't know she did this, so this will also definitely come back later on. Now, where things I thought were a little murky in this episode was this storyline between this love triangle that didn't really feel necessary at the moment, or it just felt rushed, how they just kind of really made it a love triangle thing this episode, where we see that there's this little moment of Perrin being jealous of Egwene and Rand cuddling while they're in this Ways area, and I thought it was just strange how later on in the episode when they all fight about this and Nynaeve says the line that, you know, it's like you two keep fighting over like she's some reward to be one Egwene. I don't know where this was developed. And then they start talking about like Rand saying, oh, I always knew you proposed to your wife the day I got Egwene. But even if it was something in the past we didn't really see, it was strange that there wasn't points of like flirting or that being set up with Perrin and Egwene in this time when they were with the hippies. So I thought it just felt as an audience member very out of left field and weird. And it didn't feel earned at all. So that was something that was bizarre to me. And it was just a bizarre love triangle that wasn't clicking. And that just because I don't know wherever we were developed anything between Perrin and Egwene. So I thought that was really strange. And where would Nynaeve have learn this information that we didn't? And even if it was way in the past, you know, maybe something to have shown us that. Maybe I'm forgetting something, but I really don't think there was anything here to kind of lend itself to that. So what was really cool was when Moraine talks about the Black Wind when they're in this area, and she's like, don't listen to it. So let's go through all these Black Wind voices we hear through each character, because Moraine, it says, you will murder these children and call it heroism, which is really interesting. Egwene's like, you're an imposter. Rand will never love you as much as you love him. Not really that interesting. But Rand, it says, she left you once and she will leave you again. But they cut out what's part of the reveal later where it talks about him being the Dragon Reborn. He knows he's always been that. That's his destiny. So we'll get into that line. I'm butchering it there, but I'll revisit it towards the end of the episode. But they did leave that out here. And Perrin says, you wanted Lena dead. That's why you killed her. And Lan says you can't protect her, you watch her die. But what's interesting is Nynaeve's is you will do nothing to save them, you can't protect them, but she already proves this voice wrong in this moment, if it's relating to this moment, because she does protect them and save them and gets them out of this situation. And let me just say, we've already seen 7 episodes, the MVP of the show is clearly Nynaeve. That's the actress, Zoe Robbins here, but it's also the character. And she's just, to me, the most likable, the most smart, and she's got this awesome power about her. She's super powerful, so she's kind of, to me, the voice of reason here. So I really think she stole the show for sure, and she does it again this episode. So we see they get out of the way gate. They're in the Borderlands here, and this is Lan's home, which is pretty cool. And Moraine's like, I'm giving a warning to this city, like, yo, like, the Dark One's coming with his army. You know, block up the gates, whatever you have to do, and makes it more serious to them. This lord of this land is very cocky, you know, he thinks he's got it all under control, but there's more coming here. What's interesting is a lot of commenters, shout out to the commenters that are book readers that have been telling me that there's been someone following them. We see this person is Paddon Fane, who's the peddler we met in episode 1, and he comes through the waygate here, and Perrin sees him in the town, but Nynaeve says, no, he's dead, he died in this Trolloc attack, so that's where they think he is, that he's not alive, but he is following them, so that's going to be interesting too, so that is confirmed. So what is interesting too is when they get to this bar, and Moraine's going to this psychic bartender, and we get to see her visions, and Perrin has yellow eyes, and blood is running down his chin, but she's also like, the redhead's holding a baby, meaning Rand. But when Moraine asks about the girls, the bartender says white flame and a ring of gold, but we don't see what she's seeing in that moment with Egwene and Nynaeve. So it cuts to them when she's talking about them as a group and says that they do have a connection, which is rare, and they're linked by shadows and sparks and all this stuff. So, and how more important the person is with the clearer vision. And she tells Moraine here too that the Amberlin seat will be her downfall, which is basically who she's in love with. So that really shakes up Moraine here. And I also think it's interesting, like I said, that we didn't see what she was exactly seeing with Nynaeve and Egwene. Something she's not telling Moraine clearly. But look, we see Moraine tells the group now the full story, basically, that whoever's in the dragon is going to die in this Eye of the World, and says she wishes the bartender could have told her who the Dragon Reborn is. But again, by the end of the episode, she will get that information from Rand himself. But I love Nynaeve always brings Moraine down a notch, you know, a little bit of like, brings her ego down, like, look, you made your choice, but we'll make our own. You can't drag the 4 of us against our will. But you see, Egwene's a very honorable person here, and is like, I want to go to the Eye of the World, because even if she is right, she still wants to save her family and the people she loves and the world in general. So she is very honorable in that sense. And I love the writing here with how Nynaeve and Rand are looking at Moraine as like, yeah, she can't lie, but doesn't mean she can't mislead. And Nynaeve even says a great line, this is why she's the real MVP, even if she thinks she is telling the truth, she could be wrong. So that's really big here, and again, it would be boring if this story unfolded, oh yeah, everything Moraine has said is completely accurate, like she's just nailed it and that's what we're gonna see. No, clearly not. So obviously these kind of lines you see in shows is probably what's going on. So where stuff gets a little interesting, which is the stuff with Lan and Nynaeve, and also with Moraine with Lan, because Moraine is clearly shaken up about the information she got about Siuan being her downfall. Of course it's going to screw you up, right? This is when you trust someone you love, and getting that information is never good. But Lan sees something's off with her. He knows this. But I like the moment Lan says to her he had nothing to live for before her, and this is earned and sets up his talk with Nynaeve later, explaining, you know, his background and what happened and his trauma. But you see Moraine says to Lan, I like her, you know, the wisdom. It's like, okay, so is this a hall pass for Lan we're getting here?
Giving you a hall pass.
A what?
A what?
A what?
A hall pass.
And it's great. So Nynaeve now is just creeping on him, watching what he's doing at night. She wants it. Way to take what you want, too. You know, it's very 2021. I like it. The female taking the first move. But I don't know if it was for a comic moment, but can Lan teleport? Because he noticed she's watching him and just appears right in front of him. I don't know if that was just to make us kind of laugh, like, but it was bizarre, too. But, you know, Lan gets cold feet at the end of the night, doesn't kiss her when he should. But again, 2021, baby. Even though it's not 2021 in this story, it feels 2021 because she comes back to the bedroom door, takes charge, Nynaeve. I love it.
Oh, baby.
Nynaeve. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
But you see there's some serious scars on, or there are even lashes, it looks like, on Lan's body. And before he even gets to open up, to Nynaeve, it's like, he wakes up, he's like, yo, you're leaving? So it's like, she's not even staying for an omelet. But we learned Lan was supposed to be a king, but that land was overrun by the Blight, and this is where he tragically lost his family. They were slaughtered, and that man we met was the man who took him in. But see, Nynaeve has this good line, never understood why you bond yourself to Moraine, a king without a kingdom, a boy without a family, and now you finally belong to her. But he says she doesn't own me, only in the way those kids own you, which is interesting. So they're just going to get closer and closer, these two, and I think that's been earned and developed throughout. But we'll see how much he gets close to her still, because Moraine is that variable, and how much she's comfortable with him getting close to Nynaeve. And Nynaeve already has been set up to always challenge Moraine, and that just goes too with how powerful they both are. So I kind of like, again, how they're setting that inevitable butting of heads really seriously between Moraine and Nynaeve later on, I feel. So we also see something that'll probably excite a lot of fans, where Egwene and Rand actually make up here, and they talk about Egwene should go follow her dreams of being an Aes Sedai, Rand says. But they talk about the idea that Rand would be her warder, which is exciting. Maybe that's something that will come true. Who knows? So this is where the episode really ramps up here, when Rand, we see this big reveal of all the channeling Rand has already done, and these moments we saw that we weren't so clear what he was doing, and you have always known all along, you can't escape your fate, you are the Dragon Reborn, is the line the wind said to him. But that moment, I'm like, can we trust this source of this evil wind telling him that? Is it honest? But this is where Rand goes to the bartender's like, I want you to tell me that I'm not the Dragon Reborn. But she confirms that he is. And she's like, I saw a baby born on the slopes of Dragon Mill. That baby was something impossible. And he asks her about the Eye of the World. He's like, do I make it back? She doesn't answer, looks concerned, and he's like, I didn't think so. So that makes you really interested for the finale, what's going to happen with Rand. And I like how they ramp up this awesome cliffhanger to make you excited for the finale, because you see Egwene and Perrin are like, to Nynaeve, we're going to go. We're ready to go to the Eye of the World. They're ready to get everyone together. Interestingly enough, though, Nynaeve still seems hesitant, which I think she's smart on that thinking. And it doesn't matter, because Rand and Moraine are already on their way. He tells Moraine he's a Dragon Reborn, and Moraine doesn't even tell Lan and mask their bond. So Lan knows something's up. That makes this really exciting. You got all these people having people they love that they might lose here, and they know there's a high chance of them dying. So the stakes are really high, and the stakes are higher than ever because Moraine and Rand have to go through the Blight to get to the Eye of the World. So, like I said, it's a setup penultimate episode for a big finale. Hopefully the big finale lands, because, again, I'm sorry I'm repetitive with this, but the score to me, again, feels like an 8.8. What brings it down, which would have been a more better episode to me, again, is that bizarre love triangle not really feeling like it's landing or earned for the audience. But a lot of good stuff here, and what's difficult about this is me giving an 8.8 and looking at the season as a whole. There is a feeling in me that feels empty, though, right? And I don't feel like my season score would even be an 8.8. It would be lower than that. So a lot of what I feel about even these episodes depends on how good the finale is. Like, I feel like there's a lot of pressure here, because if the finale stinks, I would actually bring this score down on this episode. So it's almost one that's so hard to rate on its own, because I think it's so reliant on the episode that comes after. And so we'll see. And I think the whole season is that. Like, this season feels like it is all mounting to a great epic close. But will we get that? Or are they going to, kind of tease us for season 2 mostly? I hope we get a good close to at least this Rand and Moraine moment in the Blight and in the Eye of the World. And we might not. But the episode's pretty sure titled The Eye of the World, so it looks like we're going to, right? And that will set up something as a main story for season 2 that's a little different. I hope, at least. Because if it feels like it was just all teased to get to another tease in this main story we're in, and not enough reward, I'm going to be frustrated. So that's the only feeling of worry I have here, because as a whole season, again, I do feel like something is still just missing, that's not taking it to its next level that it should be getting to. So I hope the finale takes it to level. We'll see. But I still really enjoyed this. Again, I love the opening. It was my favorite part of the episode. There's a lot of interesting stuff happening. And as a non-book reader, again, that's how I feel. I haven't read any of the books or any spoilers of the books, so I don't know what's coming, so it's adding a lot to that suspense and mystery. But it could be a different experience for a book reader for sure, so I don't know how you feel, but I'd love to hear that as well. But again, with all my reviews, no spoilers from the books, please. Only stuff we've already seen in the show. And if you want to clarify stuff that they maybe have talked about that's not really spoiler, that's okay too. But I'm really grateful for all you guys coming here and commenting every week. It's been so much fun just reading all your stuff. You guys are great and you're very civil, so I appreciate that. Keep that up. So please follow me at Steve Varley Show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok for more of me. And please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss one of my reviews of The Wheel of Time. I'm also doing The Witcher Season 2 right now, so you can check that out. And also Dexter, and I do movie reviews and celebrity interviews as well. And if you really love what I do here, I really appreciate if you can donate to the channel by becoming a member, and you'll get exclusive perks. That will help me do this full time one day so I can do more reviews for you guys. And I'll see you next week for the big finale.